Hi, I'm Larry McRae with Poison Spyder Customs. We just got back from the King of the Hammers race, which has been dubbed the hardest, toughest off-road race in the world, and I believe it's true. We just did the race in a production model JK. A lot of you have been following along. We're posting this video today so that I can kind of explain what happened to our race effort and where we were at in the trail when it finally let go. The JKOH is a production version JK that will ultimately be available for anybody to buy in several different forms at Jeep dealerships. The purpose of this build was, of course, not to try and win the race, but to show that a JK could actually complete this race. Could it have? I'm absolutely sure it could have. We did all the desert courses and all the trail courses. It was a 2-lap race. We got 1.5 laps through before I broke the rig, and it wasn't the fault of the rig. It was my own issue that caused the failure. So again, the JK, I'm sure could have finished this race. The car did great in the desert, much better than I ever expected it to be able to do, and the car worked just like I expected in the rocks. I have a very similar JK that I drive on those trails regularly, so I knew what to expect in the rocks. I was just surprised by how well it did in the desert. The only limitation was horsepower in the desert, and no, we didn't get the Avenger supercharger in, not because it wasn't available. It was because we just physically didn't have time to give the Jeep to Jack to put the supercharger in. So eventually it will go on this car, just we couldn't get it in time for the race, and it would have made it a lot funner, that's for sure. The Jeep made it all the way through the entire course. We got to lap number 2 to Outer Limits, which was by far the toughest trail that we had to do the whole race. The first time we hit Outer Limits, there was probably half the field in that canyon, and we were able to pick our way through most of it to get through it. The second time we were through, there was only one other car in there with us. After we passed several broke and rolled over cars, we got to about halfway through that trail, and the car that was ahead of us, unfortunately, was stuck and forced us to take a line that we probably shouldn't. At that point, we didn't have any time left to wait for him to get unstuck. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to finish the race. So we took a line that we probably shouldn't have, and got ourselves so wedged in that we couldn't recover ourselves. We were wedged in so far forward that we had to take the winch underneath the car and try and pull ourselves out to the point where it actually killed the winch, or ran out of power. The winch is still working fine, it just ran out of power. So we, knowing that by trying to use the gears to back it up, I was going to jeopardize something was going to break to get us out of there. Either the car was going to break loose with a winch, or we were going to break something, and at that point that was our only option. If I used the recovery car to get us out, our race was over anyway. So we gave it everything we had. We used the winch, we backed up as hard as we could, and ultimately broke the ring and pinion in the rear axle. At that point, there was no way we could continue, and our race was done. 30 miles left in the race. Unfortunately, we didn't finish. Fortunately, we finished a lap and a half, so we can say that the JK, could do this. Was this a contender for the win? We never expected that. Could it be? Not unless there's classes. Will we do it again? Absolutely. Could the JK finish it? Absolutely. Does this JK have a future in racing? I believe it does. So stay tuned. Let's see where this thing goes next. Thank you. Thank you all for following.